Okay, hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Why Bitcoin, the show where we ask ourselves and you, why Bitcoin? Why Bitcoin? Anyways, lots of questions to ask. Today on the show, I have my forever guest and friend, Papa Baron.
Welcome. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful today. It's a good day to be learning about Bitcoin.
It was an exciting day today, huh?
Today was a pretty exciting day. I think tomorrow, okay, literally every Sunday, I tell my wife, oh, it's going to be an exciting week in Bitcoin this week. Watch this. And so she's just gotten kind of used to me saying that. And then
Yeah.
yesterday I said it again. Oh, it's going to be an exciting day. And then 7 a.m. I look, I'm like, oh, there it goes.
Yep. Yeah, it didn't take very long, did it?
No. And
No.
yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming, but it's still
Ladies and
fun
gentlemen, if
nonetheless.
you don't know anything about Bitcoin, let me just tell you right now, it's an exciting time today. Today was very, very, very exciting. What did we clip? 48? Not
Uh,
49?
I think I don't think you got. I think the highest I saw was 47.5.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I saw 46. I think I saw, or sorry, 48.
Really?
Thought I saw 48.6, but
That's pretty wild. Let me ask you this then, because
yeah.
I've already seen one of these before, which was in early December. Now, when I told you about it initially, were you part of that initial ba from like
You're
20 to
talking
30?
about what was it, like a 20 to 33
Yeah,
jump?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I came in on the tail end of that. My first purchase, I was just looking at that today because my son was asking me about it. My first purchase was at 31,000.
Okay,
I
cool.
I bought $100 of Bitcoin at 31,000.
So you've been
So
sitting just kind of chilling, and today you're like, whoa, something's happening. So yeah, for me,
no,
this
no,
is the
no, no,
second
no.
time.
I've been super. I've been super into it, man.
Yeah,
I've
but
been. Go
this
ahead.
is the first like really bada bing bada boom for you.
Well, this is for me. I'm almost to the point where now my money's doubled
Yeah,
in less than a month.
it's
Or
insane.
no, just it's a little bit over a month. A little bit over
Okay,
a month.
okay. We could talk about the daily news and stuff
Oh
forever,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I know. It's just a very exciting and I
it's
guess
exciting.
I want to caveat for 1 second because I want to address this because I had as we've talked, if you go back to episode 1 and 2, we both talked about how we've been trying to tell other as many people as possible, and that's why we started this podcast. Um, but I've been talking to people and talking to people and talking to people today because of what happened. People have finally started to, instead of me going to them, they're now coming to me and going, "Well, what about this? What about that?" And I'm finding that I'm almost a little, um, what's the word? Maybe put out a little bit. Be-
Overwhelmed?
Well, not overwhelmed, just sort of like, yeah, like in my head, it's like, guys, I was telling you this 2 months ago, you
Yes.
know, and
So right
if you had listened to me then, you would have doubled your money.
So
Like
right
I'm
now
not.
you're in the point where you're finally realizing you have to humble yourself and not say "I told you so." Every Bitcoiner's
Yeah.
like most biggest struggle. It
Well, I
is.
mean, especially those guys at the very beginning when they bought in at,
Yeah.
$1,000 or whatever,
I
right?
don't like I can't believe the people that bought in at the beginning of 2020 or whenever that are just like, yeah, no worries, now is a great time to get in. I hope I can be that calm in a year from now and just not be telling
Right.
everybody, haha, I told you so. And
Yeah. 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 So, all right. Well, let's get on with the show here.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'll quickly explain who I am if you're new here. My name's Jeff. Well, I guess we kind of already went through. I discovered Bitcoin at the end of middle of December 2020. Kind of went crazy, researched way too much about it in a very short span of time, and have not stopped ever since. And Papa, who are you a little bit? Just a quick little blurb.
My name is Doug, and I'm toying with the idea of becoming your friendly neighborhood minarchist. So, Bitcoin is a really nice way to go about playing with that. So I'm still looking at that, but I'm thinking maybe that's going to be my unofficial title, my friendly neighborhood minarchist.
Okay, define that.
Minarchist is an offshoot of libertarianism. There's like a big debate, which is kind of what I'm still researching regarding anarchist
Okay.
versus minarchist.
Oh
Both of
yes,
them
right,
sort
right,
of,
right, 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 right.
yeah, both of them sort of have the connotation of the least amount of government involvement as possible.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm fully anarchy all the way. I've always ever since I realized that it's not a bad like anarchy is anarchy's looked at like it's some evil thing, and then you realize it's not. It's just beautiful. But we have political
Disagree
ideals.
immensely with that statement.
We're not
Go
going to
ahead.
get into that right now, but maybe later. Okay.
I just wanted to distance myself from that, so when you start getting all the hate mail, we can know where exactly where to direct it.
That's
That's all.
fine. Yeah, please hate on us as much as possible. I love nothing more than hate comments. I actually wanted to bring one up. This is my favorite hate comment of the week. Oh, I hope I have it here. Okay, fill space. Oh wait, no, I already got
Oh,
it.
you're
So
pulling it up. Where is this from? First of all.
it's on Twitter. So there's a fella named Peter Schiff that made a tweet, and I tweeted to him, "Do you have literally even one follower that is on your side?" And I did get some people coming back, and then somebody said, "This coming from a panic buyer of Bitcoin who thinks you can learn shit after not sleeping for 4 days, and within said 4 days learn enough about crypto to have a stable stance? Not buying it. Sorry, chief." And I'm just like, "Hey man, thanks for checking out my page. I have a podcast live now. You can follow it here." It made me so happy.
Awesome. Hey, I would like to I think I'm gonna have to have a little intervention here for you, my brother.
Yeah, go
I
for it.
watched a video from Joe Rogan, and he had Peter Schiff on. I think it was about a
No way.
year ago.
Okay.
And if you're so in love with anarchy, I think you and Schiff have a lot more in common than you want to admit. Like,
Oh, Schiff is.
I'll go
I
ahead.
understand Schiff because he is just a stubborn little asshole that really wants his way, and he's not backing down and admitting he's wrong. And it's a very hard thing to do, admit you're wrong. Once you do that, you feel better though. But he just refuses.
Well, but I'm talking more about his philosophy in terms of like, okay, you and I both agree that he's wrong on Bitcoin, and you know what? Eventually, he's going to come around. You know he is because he has to, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
It's he's not going to have a choice. But the point is that
Nobody
his
does.
no,
He has a
nobody really
choice.
does. That is true.
His opinion.
But if you look at his reasonings and you hear him out, I understand his philosophy is all good. Like his philosophy on monetary policy and everything else is actually
Oh
really
yeah.
good. I think it's pretty solid. It's just his conclusion is slightly off the mark. He went with something he knew and could see and could touch and could comprehend easily, gold and
Yes.
silver,
Yeah.
and he kind of shunned the new. So
Yes.
I don't think you guys are too far off. You guys just came to different conclusions. That's all.
What's unbelievable is the fact that I do agree with this, and this might sound a little bit arrogant, but like, yeah, he's really smart in the way that he's thinks about, okay, what's going to happen with inflation, what's going to happen with the dollar, and he has so much, like, he's been researching this for however long he has, and he's so knowledgeable about what's going to happen to the U.S. dollar and the global currency, but he just won't realize that, yeah, his final end statement is wrong. There's a another guy, Peter McCormack, one of my inspos for making a podcast. He just pretty much copy pastes Peter Schiff's tweets and then just adds Bitcoin where Peter Schiff says gold. And it works every time. It's very, very funny.
No, it is. They're very similar. So I think some people are just more comfortable. And honestly, when it comes right down to it, they're both going to go up in value. They're both going to retain value against the
Yes.
falling dollar. So um,
Everybody's in agreement that the dollar is bad, which is actually a good little transition to what
go
we're
ahead.
talking about today. So the question of the day today, what are the alternatives to Bitcoin in terms of what I can do with my monies? And I've got a few different ideas for what people can do with their extra money. And you can comment whether you think they're good or bad, or add more, or take them away if you don't agree. I'd love to hear what you think.
Go ahead. Just run
Um,
with it, my friend.
so I'm going to start with saying I think what a lot of people say when you say, "What do you do with your extra money?" is they'll say something along the lines of, "I don't have any extra money," which we've all been kind of trained to realize that doesn't matter how much money you have, it's never enough, and therefore you never have extra because you don't have enough. So how can you have extra if you don't have enough? And I think that's the first phase of learning people have to do is realize you have to give up these things you want, and Bitcoin helps you do that because the things you need are food, shelter, water, and air. And I truly believe if you have those four things, your necessities are met, and everything else you buy after that is a luxury. So when I hear people say like I'm so poor, now it kind of bothers me because if you're listening to this podcast, then you have a computer, then you have probably a home that you live in, then you probably drank water today, and you probably had lunch. And if not, then I implore you to contact us and comment on this video, and I'll try and help you if you didn't eat today. But anybody else, you have extra money. The question is, what do you do with it? What do you think about that?
We covered a lot of ground there.
Hmm.
I come from the philosophy of Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you're familiar with him at all.
No, not yet.
Uh, okay, Dave Ramsey is he's gotten very wealthy. Not well, he is wealthy, but he started a program called. I have to think about it.
The Dave Ramsey show.
It's well, there's the Dave Ramsey show, but then he had a book out that I read, and he does stuff like Financial Peace University and stuff like that. Pretty solid guy. He also dislikes Bitcoin, but one of his whole things was, and I don't know if I believe it so much anymore, but his whole concept was, people say they don't have money, right? I'll never be able to pay off these bills, and I'm going to be stuck like this forever. And then he goes, but you're spending, $20, $30 a week in lattes, you
Yes.
know? So what could you do if you what he called it gazelle like focus, right? Because basically the idea that is this menacing animal coming up behind you, chasing you down and going to eat you alive. And the idea was that a gazelle, when it runs away from the lion, is supremely focused on survival. So what if you lived your life with gazelle like focus?
Hmm.
And so I don't want to say that people have money or don't, because I mean, everybody's situation is different. But what I do feel like I could say pretty comfortably in regards to what you just said is the idea that there is probably something that you could alter in your lifestyle, one way or the other. And there are some people that no, that just can't happen. That's it. But then focus on getting rid of one of those debts that's consuming you, that's eating you alive, and then turn that into, what we're talking about here. That
Hmm.
would be my only, I don't know, adjunct to what you just said.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just think people are more excited to spend money than they are to save it. Like,
Oh, that's absolutely true. That's the culture though.
yeah, so
That
that's what it goes in. It sort of goes into that too, because I think that's kind of implanted into us. Because when you don't have a lot of money, whatever that amount is to you, whatever that you think that a lot of money is, you say, okay, well, I have this much money, and I'm gonna buy a new TV or an awesome headset or something exciting for you to have, a new video game. Because if you don't spend that money on something fun, in your head you're thinking, well, then I'll just be stuck paying bills or I'll just spend it on groceries, and that's not fun. So you want to spend your money as fast as possible to have as much fun as possible. And that's another thing that Bitcoin helps
that
to.
comes that has a lot of different names. I've heard that called shopping therapy.
Okay.
Um, well, I mean, shopping therapy I think is a little different in the sense that usually that's some sort of like 1980s, Valley Girl montage where they go and buy a bunch of silly hats or something.
Yeah,
Um, but no, I mean, I'm guilty of that mentality. The wife and
I
I have
think
been
we all
slogging
are.
it
Yeah.
out, and we slog it out for 6 months, and I'm finally like, you know what, just screw it. You know what we're doing? We're doing this. We're
Yeah.
going out and we're gonna blow $200 on sushi or whatever it is, just because we gonna.
You got to enjoy
So
life.
yeah, right. I don't want to be miserable. So
Mhm.
um, I mean, but that actually was my mentality for a while. It's like if I'm going to be poor, at least I'm going to try to enjoy being poor. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
And I
And now
think,
I'm
yeah.
realizing, well, that just kept me poor. So
But
now
that's
what can I
what,
do?
yeah, it's such a, like, if you're listening to that and you relate to that, there's almost everybody, I think, relates to that. And it doesn't even matter how much money you have. I think wealthy people feel that as well. People that work really hard to make millions of dollars just do the same thing, but instead of buying $100 things, they're buying $1 million things. People love spending money. Um, yeah,
It does feel good though.
it
There's
feels good.
definitely what do they call that? Little shot of endorphins and stuff
There
like that.
is.
It's
But
that's pretty nice stuff.
what's interesting about that is that there's also a crash to it because the high comes quickly and then the crash comes harder because then you almost instantly I usually feel bad pretty quickly after I buy something fun. Like it doesn't take more than a couple hours to be like, yeah, I probably didn't need that.
I think it depends on how big of a meal I order, but
Yeah. Yeah. You
no,
know,
but I hear what you're saying because it's not. Then it is. It's a double whammy because not only is the new thing not new anymore, but then you have to go back and look at your checking account and go, "Wow, that's even less zeros than I had before I did this." So
exactly.
yeah,
And most of the time the thing you're buying isn't gaining value, which is something else that you can combat that feeling with. If you buy something with your money that gains value, that's one of my things is like collectibles, for example. You can buy Pokemon cards that go up in value. You can buy hockey card, lots of different trading cards, I guess. Art goes up in value. There's lots of things you can buy that go up in value, and when you make those purchases, it feels good, and the good feeling usually doesn't go away once you have something that you know that whenever you hold it, it's worth more than the last time you held it. Do you have anything like that that you'd want to share?
I don't. I've never been big into collecting things. I just it never really did anything for me. So
Cool.
I had friends who were really. I take that back. When I was 9, I was really into Garbage Pail Kids. Did you ever have those? Do you guys have those in Canada?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Garbage Pail Kids. You
It
remember
sound
Cabbage Patch Kids?
Yeah, it kind of sounds familiar though.
So Garbage Pail Kids were essentially these really raunchy like versions of Cabbage Patch Kids. Like it was like Billy Barfo or something like that, and it was just like a picture of basically a Cabbage Patch Kid puking all over himself or something. And like they were just really they actually did a movie. There was like an 80s movie called Garbage Pail Kids. It was awful. It was the whole concept was awful, let's be honest. But that was the only thing I'm totally tangenting, but that was the only thing I think I can ever remember avidly collecting.
And
Like,
were you collecting them in hopes that they would be worth more money in the future, or just
dude,
because they were cool to
I
hold?
was 9.
Okay, yeah.
I was
So
collecting them because they were gross and disgusting and they made the girls go ew, and I thought that was awesome.
okay,
So
yeah, that makes sense. I just
yeah.
think it's interesting because like when I was 9, Pokemon cards were just coming out and people were collecting them because they were cool. And there's actually I don't maybe this is just a my feed thing, but there was a major upswing in people collecting Pokemon cards over the last 1 or 2 years, and now like almost every week you can find some other big influencer being like, I'm cracking open some Pokemon cards.
Yeah, but that's just punk kids that don't know what they're doing. They have too much money and they're just looking for that nostalgia grab on YouTube. You know what I mean?
So, although I agree with that with their punk kids, but the fact of the matter is those cards do have value. Like those cards, so long as somebody's willing to buy it, it means that that card is valuable. So,
Oh, I mean, that's the truth, right? Oh, things are only worth what you're willing to pay for it.
yeah, and somehow Pokemon cards are one of those things that went up. And then, wait, Beanie Babies was a worldwide thing, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
that was something
they
they
didn't get.
tried to pump out, right?
Well, no, no, no. Those I think for a long time, those were and did have and retain value.
But
Um,
eventually they lost it.
well, yeah. Today, if you said, "Oh, I have this Beanie Baby," I think people would first of all go, "What the hell are you talking about?" And second of all, they would say, "You spent $50 on a small stuffed toy?" No,
It's silly. Yeah.
it was. Man, that was a craze though. That was
It
a
was a
craze. I
craze.
remember that.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you never know what crazy thing is going to have value in the future and what isn't. But once you're in the future, it's easier to see. You can be like, this was a
Right.
bad choice or this was a good choice.
Oh, I spent my kid's college education on Beanie Babies. Oh no.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
just hold them for a little bit longer and maybe
yeah.
maybe in a couple of years they'll be worth
Maybe Elon
something.
Musk will come along and just start tweeting
Start
about
pumping.
Beanie Babies.
He literally could. But there's probably too many Beanie Babies to go around to give each one
Oh
value.
no, I think they went out of production, but they're too easy to falsify, right? Like, how do
Yeah.
you prove that a Beanie? Why are we even talking about this? Get back on track.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Collectibles are one thing that people can put money in. An alternate instead of putting your money in Bitcoin, you can buy a collectible, and if you buy a collectible, then you can store your value that way. Another thing you can do. with your money would be to put it in a very, with your extra money would be to put it in a very standard bank account, savings bank account, which is another
Hmm.
choice. And by doing that, for a lot of people, you think you're doing a smart thing. It's in a savings account. That means you're not going to touch it. It's just going to sit there and that'll be yours forever. And what we've learned over the last little, what I've learned over the last little while is what you have in your savings is not only, um, it's a bad idea for quite a few reasons, but the main one in my mind is that that amount of money you have in your savings account, it's not growing and it's also getting smaller. So even though you see the same amount of dollars in there, the amount of things you can buy with those dollars is decreasing. And I think most people can see that when you go to the grocery store. Like to buy a head of lettuce for me, sometimes it costs $4.99, and it drives me crazy. Things are getting more expensive, which means the
Wait,
money
did
that,
you just say a head of lettuce was $4.99?
yes, I've seen that. I mean, it's Canadian dollars, but
Yeah, but
it's insane.
what is that? What is that in US?
It's like probably $3.99. I don't know. We're not that far off of you guys.
Good Lord.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
major
Is
problem
it
with the
because you
world.
guys don't have, you can't grow it or what? Like,
I don't know, man.
because I can get a
I
head of
don't know.
lettuce for less than $1.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're talking romaine lettuce. This is some premium lettuce.
I can get 3 heads of romaine for like 2.99.
There's something wrong with the world. I'm also shopping at the fancy grocery stores because I'm a.
Okay, all right. Well, Piggly Wiggly. If you, if you guys shop at Piggly
Regardless,
Wiggly, put one in the chat. If you guys shop at like fancy Whole Foods, like my Richie Rich Canuck friend over here, you go ahead and put two in the chat. We'll see who wins on that one.
but the fact that the grocery store can post it for that price and people will buy it is just, it's just crazy. So anyway, so yeah, money in a savings account, although it feels like a smart idea, anybody that's actually trying to grow their wealth or even just retain their wealth would not put their money in a savings account, which was a hard hit for me to take because
Fun fact I learned this week: the U.S. dollar has lost 2% of value, 2% of its value every year for like the last 50 years.
yeah, and it's going up like
So
15%.
oh, it's gonna get much worse very quickly. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's another show. Anyways,
yeah,
I just for point of reference, if your dollar could buy you a gallon of gas, let's say a year ago, right?
mm,
Now it's this year it's only going to buy you 98 cents a gallon.
yes, yeah.
So, and
You can
that's happened every year for 50 years. So you just think about that and you're talking real loss. Real loss.
real loss. Even with not, so by doing nothing, you are losing. That's what bothers me is people say, "Well, I'm just saving my money." No, you're not saving your money. You are losing your money. And you have to just do your own research. Go figure out why that's true. But I promise you it's true. Don't listen to us. Go research it yourself. You will find that. So
Yep. And, I mean, there are other options though in terms of savings. You could buy bonds. I have no idea what the yields are anymore, but they used to be fairly significant.
perfect.
Um, did you ever buy a bond?
I never bought a bond. I never bought anything to grow my wealth until Bitcoin, if I'm being 100% honest.
So when I was, I don't know, 9 or 10 maybe, I actually got salmonella from milk that was sold by a. I don't think you guys have them up there. It was a Jewel, right? Jewel sold bad milk down here in
Okay.
the States, and I got some, and my mother and I got really, really sick. And there was a class action suit, and we ended up getting, I don't know, a couple hundred, I think, or something as part of the class action. And my
Mm,
mom turned around and she bought bonds in my name, right? So
right.
my chunk of the settlement, I got bonds. And for those that don't know, basically you buy a bond. At least this is how it used to work. I don't know if it still does, honestly. But you could, let's say you bought a $50 bond. You bought the $50 bond, you paid $50. 5 years later, it was guaranteed that the bond was going to be doubled in value. So then suddenly you had $100. So my mom bought, but and also it keeps accruing. So if you don't cash it in, the price just keeps going up on
Hmm.
it. So my mom bought those bonds, and I didn't even know they were there. until I went to go buy my first house, and then she was like, "Oh, by the way, these are all your bonds." And I was like, "Cool, I could use that as a down payment on the house. Nice."
Right.
So,
Good
so
mama.
there's that as a vehicle as well. Just saying. Not
Yeah.
that I would do it today, but
So yeah, that actually is exactly where else I was going. Not only bonds, but also in precious metals. I would put in that category. So you can buy gold and you can buy silver. We already talked about Peter Schiff a little bit, but up
Mhm.
until Bitcoin came out, that was probably, I would say, one of your best bets because it's been the longest running store of value in human history up until, you know, when Bitcoin came out. The thing about precious metals such as gold and silver is that they're not owned by a company, they're not owned by any one person, they're mined by mining companies. They get it and then they sell it, so you can get it from multiple different places, just like Bitcoin. You can
Mhm.
hold it yourself. You don't have to store it anywhere other than literally in your own house. And just by owning that metal, that will go up in value over time. That's another good. I would say that's a better option than just putting money in your savings account, and then again, a better option than saying I don't have any extra money. So I'm kind of working backwards here,
I
right? So
don't know. I don't know if gold and silver go up in value per se, but they at least, as you said, they retain the value.
yeah.
So, so it's an important distinction that doesn't have much of a difference, I guess, if you want to say, because
Well,
it's like if I buy $50 of gold, I'm gonna have $50 of gold
yes.
10 years from now, generally.
Well, no, I would say if you buy 2 ounces of gold, you have 2 ounces of gold. If you paid $50 for the 2 ounces in 10 years, you will have whatever $50 is worth in that 10 years from now value in
Well, and
gold.
that's what I'm saying. I think silver and gold have been fairly I mean, I could be wrong. I could double check it, but I would say
It's it's
gold hasn't.
relatively stable.
It's pretty stable. So I guess my point is, if you buy $50 worth of gold, chances are, if you went 10 years later, you'd get about $50 back.
Yes.
If you sunk, you know, or I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I'm kind of saying it backwards, aren't I? You, yeah, maybe.
Let me say it this way. So to
Yeah.
use your gas reference again, if you left, if you could buy a, what is it, a gallon of gas for
Mhm.
$100, and then the next year if you just had that $100, well now the gas is going to cost you $100.02. Whereas if you use the gold, it's going to cost you $100, and then in a
Right.
year that gold is going to be worth $100.02.
Right.
So it just kind
Yeah.
of goes up as the
Yeah.
inflation
It
goes up.
keeps the equivalent value. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Equivalent value. I think that's
Yeah.
the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, and the way it was explained to me was, you know, um, back in the day, in the 1800s, let's say, a gold, uh, 1 gram of gold, let's say,
Mhm.
would buy you a really nice suit. Okay. And if you took a gram of gold today, maybe not a gram, maybe it's more, but whatever the
Yeah,
ratio, well, let's just
yeah,
say an ounce. Okay.
yeah,
You
yeah.
take an ounce of gold back then, an ounce of gold to buy you a really nice suit. An ounce of gold today will buy you a really nice suit. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like
yeah,
it stays equivalent throughout the ages. So
yes.
that's kind
So,
of what I was trying.
so yeah. So in that sense, it's better than just having your money in a savings account. If you don't have any money, put your money in a savings account. If you want to make money, put your money into a precious metal, or if you want to retain your value, put your money in a precious metal, and then. Or a collectible. I think collectible, like we were saying earlier, and precious metals, I think you could put them on the same sort of thing. Maybe not. Maybe collectibles go up in
No,
value.
because I think collectibles are much more subjective.
Yeah,
You're going to find a lot more buyers for precious metals than you're going to find for collectibles.
but when you
And
find somebody for a collectible, then it's could be much
sure,
more profitable.
but I mean, I'm going to find a lot more buyers for precious metals. Let's just
Yes, it's
let's be
safer.
honest.
Yeah, the precious metals are the safe way to go. I think. I think
Hmm.
most people, even most Bitcoiners, would agree that that's not a bad choice
Right.
if you have no
Okay.
other options.
What else could we put our money into?
So the next thing that I would put on the list would be into stocks on the stock market, which
Hmm.
if you've been paying
Not bad.
attention to the news in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of action going on. And I think the most interesting thing about the stock market is how quickly people just toss the idea of learning about what it is aside so quickly. It's one of those things where people are like, I don't know what it is, I don't know how it works, so I'm not going to get into it. And if you like, I put very little amount of time into learning how the stock market works, and I'm like kicking myself in the head now, which is not easy to do for not getting involved in the stock market earlier in my life because it's so simple. It's
It is, but there's a lot of rules and sub rules, and there's a
they
lot of
make
ins
it
and outs.
seem complicated. It is not
Well,
complicated. That's the
I
problem.
mean, a short sale is a complicated concept.
Yes.
Like for normal people that just want to go through life and don't really want the hassle of, like, because honestly, the idea of a short sale is insane.
It is.
A normal person would not come up with that as an idea.
Let's not
Okay.
get into short sales right now. Let's just keep it on the simple end of stock
No, but
owning.
I'm just saying, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stupid rules, like
Yeah,
little
there's a
things
lot
that
of
you can
rules.
do in the stock market that are, like calls and margin buys and all this other shit that you're just like, normal people don't think like this.
Yes.
This is not a normal way to think about life, right?
Yes.
So I can understand why people don't want to buy. I don't. I don't want to bother with that,
So so
and
okay, so let me put it this way. So the person that we're talking to right now is basically, let's go down the list, right? I don't have any extra money. Yes, you do. Okay, put it in a savings account. Okay, I did that.
okay.
Okay, now buy precious metals. Okay, I did that. Now I want to make money. So now I want to do stock. So you're right that there is some learning to do. It takes more learning than learning about precious metals. It takes more learning than putting money in a savings account, and it takes
Mhm.
more learning than just being lazy. You can't you can't make any profits. You can't do anything in your life without putting a little bit of work in. So if you want to do nothing, then just spend all your money. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
yes, I'm agreeing with you here in that there are rules to learn about the stock market. You do have to figure out how it works, but you it is well worth the time investment that you're putting in to learn about it, I think.
I could I can agree with that, I suppose. It depends on the person. That's the only caveat I would say, is that it depends on the person.
Yes. If
Some
the person is
people, they
trying to
just don't
make
have a
profit.
mind for it. Like, I don't think I have a mind for stocks. Like I said, I look at the whole thing and I go, just kill it with fire. It's awful. Like, it's just this horrible John Carpenter creation. Like,
Yeah.
I just hate it. So
Have you watched The Big Short yet? It's trending
no, I
right
have
now.
not.
Oh my
Not.
God, dude, you have to watch it. It's unbelievable. I just watched it the other
No,
night.
but I have been reading The Creature from Jekyll Island,
I've
which
also been reading that.
I know you have. So okay, so you got stocks. Then what? What else can you do?
Okay, so after stocks, we're going right into cryptocurrencies.
I think you missed one, my friend. I think you missed an important one, actually.
Okay, it hit me.
Property, land.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that? I have never
Well,
bought
just
property in
from a
my life.
standpoint that land, um, you want to talk about retaining value. Land has never gone down, as far as I can tell, unless a government agency comes in and declares it useless. Land in and of itself doesn't go down. It's always useful because if you own it, you can live on it. If you own it, you can rent it out. You can rent it out for various things depending on where you live, whether it's for living or sharecropping or not sharecropping. Sharecropping, that's not what I meant. Just for farming or horses, or it has intrinsic value just because it's land. And it also becomes an asset that you can borrow against, whereas other assets you really can't so much, I want to say. Like,
Yeah, it's one of the most widely accepted forms of borrowing
right.
against.
And if you're talking about let's make money, then, having access to a line of credit via, the collateral that is land, that's a pretty good way to, you know, fund a business or an enterprise or whatever. It's also a good way to lose the land, but that's another discussion.
So my one issue with land when you're talking to somebody new into the space of trying to retain their wealth or grow their wealth is that in order to obtain land, you have to have quite a large amount of money already. Like the average 9 to 5 worker that just has a minimum wage to low income or anything around that, it's hard to buy a house, and that it's getting easier. And there's things about that, but you need to have a down payment, a percentage of a down payment, right? And so you can't just right now say, okay, I want to save up to buy a house, because that may take you a long time. But if you
But
can do that,
you're also assuming that I just mean land with houses. I mean, real estate speculation almost never has anything to do with the actual build, like you build. It's all about I buy a piece of property and I convince someone else to build a house on it. Or
wow,
in my
yeah,
case, if I could, let's say, I mean, I've looked in Canada. You guys have some fairly large tracts of land
we got some
that,
land.
yeah, you got some land up there.
We got some land.
Um, and it's not, I mean, some of it's pretty well priced. You can get, 20 acres of a fairly decent chunk of Canada for not too much.
You got to pay
Um,
all in loonies though.
well, I mean, there's sacrifices with every commitment. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so you don't necessarily have to buy
A house.
straight up developed property, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, sometimes you can find really good deals. In fact, there are some things, and I've looked this up. They'll grant there are land grants still. It's called the Homestead Act. It's still viable in the United States. There are places, Kansas, Oklahoma, these little cities that are looking to develop themselves. They will literally give it to you if you just basically pay like first and second year taxes.
Hmm.
They'll give you land. So, and then of course you're kind of banking on the area becoming developed and that land, increasing in property. And there's other caveats depending on where you're looking, but um, yeah, I mean, just don't just look at the idea of just buying a house. There's some definitely, and I'm talking, I don't, $1,000, $5,000. You can find chunks of land,
Wow.
still.
That,
So
yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? I hadn't thought about that, and that is a really good idea too. If you can do that, you just got to take care of the land, I guess. But other than that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Again, it becomes part of your portfolio. So
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good idea as well. If you can buy land, buy land. If you have the means to do
absolutely,
so, I think everybody always says that.
I would. I do.
I've been trying to buy a house for a long time. I'm not there yet. Hopefully one day.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
just to buy land without a house on it. I never even thought of that idea. But yeah, why not? It's such a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, especially now with YouTube, you can go on and you can watch all these videos on how these dudes like build like log cabins from scratch using just like a hammer and an axe.
Hmm,
Like it's I don't know. I'm big into that kind of stuff. I
that's
love
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just watched a YouTube video the other day of a guy that bought a old mining town. So he got like
Oh,
all
no
the
kidding,
land. It,
really?
it was insane, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's refurbishing everything, and he's got all the like, it's pretty nuts. Maybe I'll put the link in the comments down below.
Will you though this time? Will
Uh,
you?
well, yeah, if I remember. I'm pretty good with
Okay.
my memory. It's
Hey,
getting
while
better.
we're taking a break on this sort of stuff, let's do some housekeeping real quick. Number one, nothing we say here should be taken as financial advice. You should do all your own research. Anything we say is obviously just our speculation and should not be taken at face value. Secondly, you should definitely check out our Twitter page, which is at @ybitcoin underscore, and go ahead and give us a follow there. We'd appreciate it. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel here and wherever else we're eventually going to put this podcast someday. I don't
We're working.
know. Uh-huh.
Yeah, no financial advice. Do your own research and spend the time. Do it. Just
Yeah.
learn yourself and stop blaming other people for your mistakes.
There
That
you go. All
that's
right. So now that we've covered land and stocks and bonds and
bank accounts and
bank
not having
accounts.
money.
Yep.
We
Now that
can.
we've graduated all the way to big boy steps of
What are the best things you can do, in my opinion, would be to buy Bitcoin. And with that come other, well, I mean, they're kind of two different things, but one buy Bitcoin. Two would be to look into other cryptocurrencies. If you want to gamble your whole life away, you can buy other cryptocurrencies. So we might as well. Why? So now I guess I'm talking about why is Bitcoin such a good thing. You can literally go down the list here, actually. Wow. Okay, so why buy Bitcoin? I don't have any extra money. Yes, you do. You have $2 and you're allowed to buy literally $1 of Bitcoin if you want to. It works as a savings account. You can have a wallet and then it just sits there in your wallet. It's like a savings account that you can withdraw from or add to as you please. But the difference about it being a savings account is that it actually goes up in value, like we said about precious metals, where it sits
Well, be
there.
careful now. Be careful. That's not true.
Yes, it
That's not
is.
100%. No, that's not 100% true.
Yeah, it is. Over 12 years, it's gone up. It's never gone down over the life cycle of it. It goes up and down in value, but that is also true for precious metals. That's also true for money. But so if you want to say it never, okay, maybe we should say this, right?
I
We
think
should say,
you should definitely distinguish between a savings account, which issues you actual interest, and which, okay, we can argue that maybe it does or maybe it doesn't. But the point is, a savings account is supposed to issue you interest on your deposit. You're talking about it increases in value. There's a difference. I think it's an important one. That's my point.
oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that. And if you're in the UK, watch out because your savings account is going to get hit with negative interest rates soon enough.
Are you serious? Is that actually happening?
You didn't, yeah, that's happening. The UK government's looking into putting negative interest rates into people's bank accounts. It's probably going to start happening to other countries, right? If
So
it's
you're literally going to have to pay.
you're going to have to pay to have a savings account.
Are
It
they
is,
are they trying to ruin their economy?
it's too late. The economy's already ruined. They don't care anymore.
I understand that, but are they trying to accelerate the ruination?
There's
Because
nothing they can do.
historically,
They need money, so they have to take it from
I
the people.
yeah, I know, and you know, I don't understand how we've gotten so far afield of the historical value and the lessons that it teaches us. A country that saves, a population that saves, they're basically what was there's a phrase I heard. Essentially, you're buying the future or you're securing the future when you save. That's what you're
Okay.
doing. And I don't know. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I like that. You're securing the future when you save with Bitcoin for sure. When you save, so an interest rate, like you said, like if I want this podcast to be for an absolute idiot like me that doesn't know anything, right? So an interest rate is you put money in the bank, and then the bank says we'll give you 1% interest on what you give us. So in a year, if you have $100 in the bank, they give you 1%. So now you have $101.
Hmm.
When we say negative interest rate, what they're meaning is they're going to put negative 1% interest, which means if you give them $100 in the bank, next year you go to take it out, you have $99, and that's
Is
not
there
a
is
bank
there
fee. That's
do me a clarification here. Is there like a limit? Like you have to if you have $100,000 and then you get interest, but if you have less than $100,000, you have negative interest? Like how what fool would go, "Oh, that seems like a good idea. Let me stick my money into this bank that will tax me essentially at,
so
1% every year."
So
What is that?
the problem is one, people being ignorant to learning what it even means. So they're just like, I don't know what this means. Sure. When I first heard negative interest rate, I thought they were talking about credit cards. I'm like, ooh, this is good. That means I'm gonna have less credit. Is that what it means? And then I looked into it. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This is very, very bad.
Uh-huh.
And then the other problem is people don't have a choice. You need, up until not long ago, you needed a bank account in order to live. You need a bank account so that you can transfer money. You need a bank account so that you can hold your money somewhere. You need a bank account to pretty much any kid when they turn. It's like going to Hogwarts. You turn 10 years old, you get a letter from the bank and say, hey, come on, open up a bank account. And we're just told that's what you have to do. You don't have another choice. When in reality, you are the bank's customer. They aren't. It's so
Oh, absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
so frustrating.
Oh,
You don't need a you don't need a bank account. But up in I mean you needed a bank account. I think everybody would. How can you live without a bank account? I don't know how you would do it.
I don't know either. It's a necessary evil to me at this point.
Hmm.
But I mean,
So
no,
so to put up with a
just the,
negative
the the
interest rate.
concept though of look, just the idea that literally declaring a negative interest rate is so gross. Like I don't even
It's
have a better
scary.
word. It's just
It's
gross,
just
right?
gross.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like,
Let's do our daily. You already brought it up once, but our sponsor of today's show is The Creature from Jekyll Island. This is an audio book
yeah.
that's free on Audible. You can. We'll post the link down
No,
below.
it's not on Audible. It's not on Audible.
Oh, it's not. Well,
No,
we
but
have a link.
there is a free version. We'll put it
Okay.
up. We'll put it up in the thing there. There's we have two links for you because we know you guys don't have a lot of money because we don't have a lot of money. If you guys think we're sitting here smoking cigars and driving our Bentleys, we're
Making
not. We're
bad
just
choices.
making
not.
bad choices. We're just two dudes that are really enjoy talking to each other about this kind of stuff, and we hope you do too. And if you do enjoy it, please leave a comment because that's how other people get to know about us. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, share,
But
share, and like. But yeah,
share, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Smash that like button.
Smash it. If you want to learn more about what we're talking about, banks and how the banking system works and why we're calling it gross, and you're like, well, I don't think the bank is gross. They've always been nice to me. Do yourself a favor, listen to this book or read this book, and then remember to have a blanket close by and something to wipe your tears from your face so that you can cuddle and cry in comfort.
When you wake up curled up in the fetal position, just warn your significant other that could happen because
it's gonna make you sad. I listened to the first 2 hours. I think
furious. Dude.
I've listened to it 3 times, and I just.
You listened to the whole book 3 times?
No, when I listen to audio books, I usually listen to like the same thing over and over again because my mind wanders. So I'll listen to it and then I'll listen to it again and then.
See, that's why I'm actually trying to. I'm listening to it and I'm reading it in at the same time.
Yeah,
like
I would do that if
simultaneously.
I just I do it while I'm at work. So.
Sure. How far have you gotten into it? What chapter?
I'm still on the third. I'm into the 3rd hour now. I'm not sure what chapter that is, but on the link it goes by hours.
3rd hour, I think, is still into chapter 2.
Yeah.
The third chapter will just.
When they explain the bailiffs.
You know that meme where it's just Arthur, like he's just like making the fist.
Yes.
That was me the entire 3rd chapter, dude.
Because
I was so pissed the entire time.
Yeah, you realize how, and that's why I'm so aggressively like, you don't need a bank account. Screw the I'm very anti-bank now. I'm just like, nobody needs this. And I don't know if I told you this, but one of the reasons you need a bank account, for me anyways, is to pay bills, my electricity bill, my water bill. And I was able to, this week, pay my bills with my Bitcoin account. It was my favorite.
You use Bitcoin?
Yes. I use Bitcoin.
To pay bills?
To pay bills, baby. It's the best
What's
day of
wrong
my
with
life.
you? Why would you spend?
Because I don't have any other money.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I applaud your commitment to the cause. Well done, sir.
Yeah, and that's not to say that I have a lot of money in Bitcoin. I don't. I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't have extra money.
Most people do. I mean, that's until we educate ourselves. That's the way people are. They're just going to do that, right?
So if I mean, you have to pay bills. You have to be able to pay your bills for your house. Otherwise, they shut them off. I realized that's a necessity, and I found a way that I could pay it with my Bitcoin account. So I said, okay, I will pay it with this. And it
now, how does
really,
that work
really
though?
good.
Because of the fluctuations, like.
Okay, so the website I used, Bull Bitcoin, and it links you to a website called Bills, BYLLS. I think this is only for Canada right now. I talked to
America's got a lot of rules about it. I've noticed that. Like, there's a lot of websites I can't use as an American when it comes to eCoin. It's just really obnoxious,
I think that you call it eCoin. Have you heard other people say eCoin? Is that what they call it?
No.
Or is that what you call it?
I do. Okay. That's what I call it. Yeah, because it's it's an electronic coin. What should I call it? What should I call it?
Either call it.
You hate crypto too.
I do.
So
I hate crypto, but that's just the word. That's why I don't.
Have to listen. If I say eCoin and you hate eCoin, and then I say crypto and you hate crypto, then I think the problem is you.
No,
not
I
me.
think okay. Well, you can either say Bitcoin or you can say crypto because they're not one and the same, right? So if you're saying Bitcoin, I'll understand what you're using, and then if you're saying crypto, I'll understand that you can bundle all the other ones.
I'll try to stick to crypto.
You can say, I don't know. We can try and coin the word eCoin. But
I'm pretty sure I've seen it called eCoin.
Okay, we'll call it eCoin.
It doesn't have to be called eCoin. I just
comment down below if eCoin is better than
now that
crypto.
I've said eCoin so many times, it's starting to sound like equine. So now I'm starting to think it's like horses. And
it sounds weird. Equine.
It does.
Equine.
It does. Well, Yeah, well, we
The
keep
ECoin.
saying it, so
ECoin.
it's like it's like when you just say a word, you say it so many times it
I've
starts to
done that.
sound weird.
Bowl is good for that. Bowl. 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 It's really good for that. You just say bowl a few
Oh my
times.
God, I'm good. I'm gonna need a drink if we keep going down this path, man.
Okay,
Okay.
so I feel what are the alternatives to Bitcoin? You don't have any extra money. You put it in a savings account. You put it in precious metals. You buy some collectibles. You buy some stocks. You buy some land, or you buy some other cryptocurrencies. These are things you can do today, and you probably should. This isn't financial advice, but if you're saying you have no money, stop lying to yourself. You have nobody to blame but yourself if you don't have extra money. I'm a big believer in that as well. People blaming other people for not having money. It's like, shut up, go out, work, and make some. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe people won't like that, but I do.
No, that doesn't. I mean, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm. I personally don't think I'm obligated to anybody else's hard work or labor. So,
Yeah.
um, the only thing I can count on is my own hard work and labor, and
Exactly.
everything else is off the table as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. You just take responsibility for yourself. That's another like major point I want to hit is just if you're listening to this podcast and you feel like somebody else should be taking care of you, no, they shouldn't. Look out for yourself.
Well, this is probably not the right podcast for you. Let's be honest,
Yeah.
because you're
But well,
not going
maybe
to
it
find
is.
it very
Maybe
comfortable.
we
Well,
can
yeah,
change you.
maybe I don't know, but you're not going to find a lot of sympathy with that attitude
Yeah,
here.
anywhere, I
So,
don't think.
and again, for the record, we are not Richie Rich, types here. We're two guys, middle class, working, family men who we've just decided to take an active interest in our own finances. So
Yes.
that's pretty much our background. We're not,
We
you
don't
know,
we don't know anything. We're just talking. Go
we're
look
just
for yourself.
talking. We're certainly
Ch-
not Rockefellers or
yeah,
Kennedys or I don't know what's the equivalent of a Rockefeller in Canada, like a
Trudeau.
I
Freaking.
I don't even know any Canadian last names. Like what's a common Canadian last name up there?
What?
Like
I don't think there's Canadian last names. I mean, a lot of Canadian.
you have a last name. I mean,
I have a last name, but most people in Canada, just like the states, came from I don't know, England, Ireland. I don't know, all the white countries in
you
Europe.
guys have Smiths up there?
Yeah, everywhere has Smiths.
I don't know. Maybe I've never been to. I've been to Canada like for
Canada,
half an hour one
Canada,
time.
Canada is literally America. You guys are the United States of America. We are Canada of America. Like it's North
America's
America.
hat. I
Yeah,
got it. It's fine.
we are the same. We are the same. You're literally in. I won't say where you're from, but you're from basically Canada.
Oh, that's not even true. Come on, we have polka. You guys don't have polka. Get out of here with that.
You have trees and you have. You basically.
Is that is that how
You,
you define when things are alike? You have trees and you have water and rain.
yeah,
So
we are
you're
all the
basically
same.
Mongolia, okay? You're all
We're all
basically Mongolia.
we're all the same. We're all the same. If you have
All right, we
trees.
are so. What is going on tonight, man?
I feel like we're hitting some good points, and it's everybody's favorite
We're
time
just
of the
all over the place.
it's everybody's favorite part of the show. The time for price check. I'm gonna go ahead
Ah,
and do a
price check.
price check.
Oh yeah, let's do it right now,
This
man. I'm
might be
excited.
interesting. Last week, I can't remember what it was last week, but this week, okay, I have it loaded up on mine. Do you have it
Last
loaded?
week we were just at like I want to say
33-ish?
30. I thought we were closer to 37.
37-ish? Okay, and this week on, I'm using my Coinbase app. I'm reading $45,936.55. Is that what you're seeing?
I'm pulling up Coinbase Pro. Hold on a
Yeah, so
second
there's a
here.
little bit of this has one thing I've been trying to figure out is are different exchanges showing different prices? Like is the price that Coinbase shows the same price that Binance shows the same price that the other ones show? I
I
don't
don't
know. I
I
don't
don't
think
like
it is.
Binance. I think they rip me off pretty good, so I don't use them.
Yeah.
Also, I was just reading something. It was about Coinbase and it was about Binance and then one other one.
Kraken
Um,
maybe? Kraken?
no. It was one I'd never heard of. It sounded Russian. But anyways, do you have coin right now on Coinbase?
I do well actually I have some Ethereum on my Coinbase exchange, yeah.
Is they're saying that apparently if you try to withdraw this stuff, they're shutting your account down and locking you out.
Oh, you mean yeah, I've seen some. I actually don't own anything. I was just lying. What yeah.
Why? What
uh
what do you have? What did you have for BTC again?
in my big oh, for the price?
Yeah,
Actually it just went up over 46. So now it's showing 46,017.48.
and I'm at 46,041.66. So there is a discrepancy
There is a little
generally.
bit of difference. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're saying is that if the bank account sees that you're withdrawing money from an
No, no,
exchange, that
no.
they're
I'm
going to lock
saying
your.
Coinbase. I'm
Uh,
saying if Coinbase sees you trying to take out your imaginary Ethereum there, if you try to move it, they're locking your account.
that's weird. Coinbase always messes up
To be
whenever
fair, that
there's.
was a rumor that I was reading on like a Discord that I'm part of, not necessarily anything official. So,
Okay. Yeah, Coinbase has a lot of hiccups whenever big changes happen. It happens like clockwork. I'm surprised it
all,
didn't
all
happen
of them,
today.
everything does though, dude. Nice Hash was down for like 6 hours today.
Oh yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
looked at mempool for the first time a little while. Have you looked at that?
no, I don't know.
MEMPOOL.
Yeah,
That's
what's that?
it shows you the actual blocks going through the Bitcoin blockchain. Just like here's this block, and then
Oh,
it's very cool. So if you make a so why I was looking at it was for when I was paying my bills. It could like the guy's like, here, look at the block. There's the block that your transaction's going to be in. This is the
oh, that's kind of cool.
it's very cool, yeah. So you
It's sort of
can
like watching the bank actually pay. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, yeah. Mempool
that's
dot
interesting.
it's mempool dot something. I don't know. Google mempool, you'll find it.
It's
MEMP.
mempool.space.
Oh, there. Yes, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, because I just pulled it up.
Awesome. Okay. Price check complete.
Price
Uh,
check. So we're clearly over 40,000.
yes.
Um,
We
and
don't know.
going back to what we were saying, maybe I don't really need to, but I'm still just kind of salty about everyone that's all of a sudden now they're interested after me trying for weeks to get people interested.
Don't be
Uh,
salty, man. Let
I'm
go of the
just a little
salt.
salty, man. I
Let
can't
go of the
help it. I
pride.
can't.
Swallow
I'm
it.
just saying. I'm just saying. If
I
you had
understand.
just listened to me a month ago, because I listened to 7 Foot like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
then we all could have ridden this wave together. And instead, they're still talking to me about how it's too hard to get into this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you decided to go and do your own research. You have to let them do their own research. You can
I
just
know, I
send
know,
them
I
the
know.
links and stuff. Um,
But
yeah.
but for the record, I do want to say this to anybody listening right now. If you're not in the crypto game yet, okay? Legitimately, seriously, it takes nothing to get involved. Like next to nothing. It takes maybe 15 minutes of your time and is like Jeff said, as little as $1. And you can say I own Bitcoin or I own Ethereum. Or if you just want to go do it for the memes, you could say I own $1 of Doge.
Yep.
Okay? But the point is you get involved, you start to understand. I cannot encourage you guys enough to just just look at it.
Just
That's
learn. Just
just
learn.
just let me reach through my microphone
And
and
just
grab you by the lapels and drag you to your computer and say, please, friend, just type out a little bit. That's all I'm asking. Just type a few questions into the Google machine and just do some learning.
yeah,
And if you guys have any questions, you guys can put those comments right down there. They're right down there. Just
just look
look,
right
lower
there.
your eyes,
And
right there.
bada boom,
Just
bada
ask a
boom.
question, and we will do our best to answer it. If we don't know it offhand, we'll tell you we don't really know, but this is our best guess. So,
And we can always lead you to a website or somewhere else to uh, do more research yourself. There's so much out there. It's insane.
what I don't want, here's what I don't want. I don't want people listening to this, and then when something else happens huge and everybody's talking about it, right? I don't want you to be like, oh, I had no idea what this was, and I should have gotten involved, 6 weeks ago or a year ago. If you listen to it right now, you're already halfway
You're
there because
you're
you're
very
listening to two
early.
dorks talking about it.
Yeah.
But just take those extra steps because, and we're not selling anything, just for the record. I
Okay. Yeah.
mean,
That was something I wanted to say too.
yeah. So I mean, not yet. Someday we'll probably sell something to whatever, but Right now, all we're just doing is giving you advice and information that is not fiscal advice. It's just our opinions. But yeah, just don't be that guy who's like a year from now, man, if I had just taken that $100,
And don't
whatever, I could have,
and
I
if
don't
you
know.
are that guy a year from now, it doesn't matter. You're still getting in at a good time. A year from now is a
Well,
great time to
I
get
think
in.
I think honestly, if we're going to do some prognostication, I think a year from now, I think this is going to be adopted so quickly now, especially after Elon today and the Tesla announcement and stuff like that, that um, I think what you're doing, paying things in Bitcoin, I think it's going to happen a lot faster.
Hmm.
So I don't think
Hmm.
they're going to have a choice, is what I'm saying. I think you're going to,
Oh, you
I
don't have a
think what's going to
choice
happen is you're going to be involved, dear listener, you're going to be involved in crypto, whether you like it or not,
in
quite
Bitcoin.
frankly, in
Not
my
not
opinion.
necessarily in Bitcoin in crypto, but in Bitcoin.
You are ridiculous. Ethereum is very valuable as well.
How much
It has,
Ethereum did Tesla buy today?
uh-huh, right. Because you know why they bought Bitcoin and not Ethereum? Because
Because
they're looking to store wealth. They're not looking to use their wealth. Will be the Ethereum will be the actual money with velocity. Okay, Bitcoin will just. We'll get
every
into that another time. We'll get into
yeah,
another time.
it's another show. You're wrong, but it's another show.
Uh, okay, okay.
Okay,
So the
let's
point
quick.
is, friends, don't. You're going to be involved one way or the other. You can't get away from it at this
You
point.
don't have a
So you might as
choice.
well just do your research, and you might as well learn about it now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying. That's it. I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's the title of the podcast. Why Bitcoin? Because you don't have a choice.
Because you don't have a choice.
It's literally what it is, and that's what the question of the days was. Well, what can I do instead of Bitcoin? Here's your other choices, um, and at least do one of those. But quickly realize that Bitcoin is the best choice.
Mm,
Okay, quickly dunking on a no coiner. What was the guy's
mm.
name of video that you
Dude,
sent
I
me?
sent you the link.
I know
I sent
I
you
just
the link.
forgot him. I forgot him. I forgot his name. Anyways, this guy's an
Hold
idiot.
on, hold on. Let me just scroll up here.
I'm scrolling as well. Scrolling,
Yeah.
scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Yeah.
Good God, we talk a lot. What the hell?
Well, we got in a bit of an argument. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
that
his
was.
name.
Welcome to Freedom Nows.
Freedom in hours. Okay, this guy is telling you that Bitcoin is a bad investment. This guy is telling you that it goes up and down in velocity, and I keep saying velocity. It's volatility, but volatility
Mhm.
is a hard word to say.
Well, no, monetary velocity is a thing as well.
Oh, is it okay? But volatility is what people are scared of.
Correct.
Okay, people say Bitcoin doesn't have value, like this guy. It doesn't make sense. Like we said with the collectibles, value is whatever somebody will pay for a thing. Right now, there are people that will pay $46,000 for one Bitcoin. Bitcoin has value. Full stop. The end. That's all there is to it. It's so frustrating when people say it doesn't have value. It's like, there it is. There's the
Well,
value.
I think that comes from just a lack of knowledge. I mean,
Yes,
and
because
there
they're
are some people.
idiots.
We should. Oh God, don't call our listeners
No,
idiots. That's
these
not.
are we're dunking on a no
Oh,
coiner.
that guy. Yeah. That
That
what
guy's
was
an idiot.
where was he from? Actually, you know what? Don't even say it. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. We don't want to give that guy any of our minimal
he's just
street cred.
by
But
saying Bitcoin doesn't have value means you don't understand what value is. And this is people that call
no.
themselves financial advisors
Yeah.
explaining what value
Yeah.
is. Like you're
There
just
were a
wrong.
there was a ton of things wrong with that guy's video. First of all, he was clearly pitching something. I didn't even listen to the point where he started pitching his package or whatever it was. I'm
Yeah,
sure something was coming at the end, but
yeah.
um
If any,
I
if oh here, let me quickly say this. If
good.
anybody, while you're researching Bitcoin, if anybody says I'm gonna sell you something, or they're saying to give them your money to help you, that is a scam.
Yeah.
Bitcoin does not ask for your money. Bitcoin doesn't have feelings. Bitcoin doesn't care if you buy it or not. Bitcoin doesn't give a shit. Just if anybody tells you that if you buy this, I'll help you get Bitcoin, they are lying to you and they are going to
Yes.
steal your
Yeah,
money,
definitely do not give your keys to anybody at
your
all.
keys as well. Yes, of course.
That being said, I know for a fact like listen, people need to make money, right? And there are okay, I'm just going to use this as an example. There's a guy named Crypto Jeb, okay? Crypto Jeb is very knowledgeable and he has a program. I'm actually looking at it. I might actually purchase it. I'm not sure if I will or not. But he what he does is he shows you how to read the charts. Like if you if you know anything about stock trading, there are charts that you can read and look at and sort of predict kind of the not 100%, but with fair accuracy, you can predict where things are going to go.
Hmm.
Um, he does the same. He does the same thing with crypto. So he'll look at and just kind of like he has a program that will kind of step you through how to do that sort of thing. It's look kind of interesting to me, so I might want to do it. That being said, he doesn't say just give me your crypto or give me your keys and I'll make money for you. That's a different thing.
Yeah, there's a
So,
difference of selling a product. If you're buying a
right,
product, you realize you're buying a product.
right.
Also, with anybody that's saying they know how to read graphs, what I've also learned is that it's all just speculation.
Oh,
Anybody,
it is.
that's another thing that's frustrating. It's like whoever this guy is that you're talking about, I'm sure that he's done a lot of research, but the fact of the matter is nobody can predict Tesla putting
No, I was just about to say,
1.5.
you're right.
Yeah, nobody can predict that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Everything is just somebody's opinion.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what's going to happen other than the fact that Bitcoin always goes up. Everybody knows that.
It doesn't always go up. Just come. If you're in it for the long haul, yeah, you
If
really
you're
need to caveat when you say that.
okay,
Look, you can't just say Bitcoin always goes up
I
because then what's
can
going to
though.
happen is somebody's going to turn around. They're going to take our advice. They're going to go buy the $1 worth of Bitcoin, right? And then tomorrow, because we had a nice high today, people are going to jump out. They're going to sell off, and it's going to drop to and they're going to lose their dollar. And then they're like,
They
"You
don't,
guys lied. It
but
doesn't always go up."
they
Just
don't lose their dollar worth of Bitcoin.
you
They don't lose
have to
that
put a
amount of.
caveat on it. If you
Okay,
hang on,
if you buy your Bitcoin and never sell it, it will go up in value. Always. Just don't sell
uh,
it ever.
all right, okay,
Right?
all right.
I think that's a fair statement. Just
I
never
hate
sell.
I'm not a huge fan of absolute statements like that, but okay. All right.
Well, I mean, it's just
No,
so
it's
obvious
not
though.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I got him.
But you're not no fine, whatever. You're not wrong. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyways. Anyways.
Okay. What's the
So yeah,
next?
this fool I genuinely can't remember his name. I found him and he was talking about how Bitcoin is a bad investment and you shouldn't bother with it. And I mm, the thing of it was is he's got like
Just
he
dunk on
wasn't
him.
big. He
Just
just
dunk
he
on him.
well,
You're
okay,
not
fine.
big.
I will.
You
I
just
will.
dunk on him.
You know what bothers me, honestly? It's guys. It's not necessarily him, but it's guys like him.
Mhm.
They're gonna say that they're these financial gurus that you should pay attention to. Now, Jeff and I have been very clear. We're not financial gurus, and you should barely listen to us. We're entertaining more than anything, probably, hopefully,
Mhm.
and we have a little bit of knowledge to impart, but we're not telling you how to live your lives. People like this guy, they get in and they got their YouTube channels and they're telling people what to do with their money and their time and everything else. And then you look at it and you go, this dude is sitting at his kitchen table and it's like poorly recorded. The lighting is bad. There's, nothing about what you're viewing says I am wealthy and I know what I'm talking about.
Get dunked on,
And
fool.
yeah, get dunked on, fool. But it's just, it's like I
Screw
don't
those.
tell me
Screw those guys.
you don't if you can't even like walk the walk, then why should I listen to you talk the talk? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'll say this, Crypto Jeb, he has really nice lighting. He looks like he actually spent money on a good camera, and he has some pretty good graphics involved and everything else. Like at least he's pretending. He might be full of shit. I don't know,
Everybody's
but
full of shit all the time.
maybe. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna tell people how to spend their money and live their life, could you at least be pretending to live a life that I want to live,
Mhm.
as opposed to like looking like some guy whose wife just left him in a poorly lit apartment somewhere. Like, all
Dun
right, I'm done.
dun.
That was catty. That was super catty, and I
Dunking on
apologize,
him. You dunking on him.
but I
You're
had
that
to
guy.
dunk on it, man.
Cool.
It just irritated me so bad. So,
Okay.
all right,
Screw that guy.
what's next?
We are running out of time here. We
Oh
can
yeah, we are. Oh
Yes,
God,
maybe
we're
maybe
overtime.
we'll leave it there. There's lots of exciting news stories that come out every week. This week,
Hmm.
Tesla bought. I mean, we've already commented on it a couple times. This week's news story of the week would be Tesla bought 1.5 billion dollars worth of
Could you
Bitcoin.
say that number again, please?
Yeah,
What was that?
1.5 billion dollars. Don't really
With a
worry about.
B?
Yeah, with a B, but they're dollars, so they're not really worth much, anyways. Um,
Go on.
it's an interesting story. You can read up about it. We'd love to sit and chat here for hours and hours about it. If you want us to do that, maybe let us know if you want us to go on another hour and just
I think we have to
talk
talk
about.
a little bit about it. We have to just 5 minutes on it. This is a huge story. Now, why is it a huge story? Do your best summation of why this is such a huge story.
You want me to explain? Okay, so this is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
huge
yeah. Go
story
ahead.
because, okay, do you know who Michael Saylor is?
No, I don't know. No, I
Okay,
don't think that's relevant to why this is important. But go ahead.
of course that's
Oh
important.
no, I do. Who? No, no, he just did the with the 1400, right?
Yeah, so Michael Saylor did a
Yeah, but no, no,
conference
no, no.
with the.
Talk about why Bitcoin, why the Bitcoin or the Tesla buy is important. Not Sailor. Sailor's another topic.
Okay, Saylor is important to this because Saylor talked to the Tesla execs along with 1,400 other companies and
Uh-huh.
explained to them why having Bitcoin on their balance sheet, which I don't even know what that word means really, but to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet is a good idea. And he got through to one of them being Tesla, Tesla being one of the most valuable companies in the world today. And with Tesla putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, that's going to be a what's the word? A rolling. What's the word where it's a snowball effect to
Mm-hmm,
show other
hmm.
companies, hey, if Tesla did it, we should probably do it. Hey, if those guys did it, we should probably do it. Hey, if those guys did it, then we should probably do it. Basically, if you're listening to this podcast right now, Bitcoin is going in waves. It's going in people that understood it because of the programming, people that understood it because they kind of did a little bit of research. And the next part is the Fortune 500 companies and major companies that have lots of money to do something with, that are looking for places to store their value, that are aware that the dollar is falling, that are looking for things to buy so that they can withhold their purchasing power in the future. And those companies are buying right now. The time when the general public is going to buy is going to come 2 or 3 steps away from now. So if you're listening to this and you're just a regular person, realize that you're very early, very, very early in Bitcoin. Tesla buying it is just showing that, okay, well, now companies are involved. Um, yeah, and to be honest, to Tesla, 1.5 billion. A few people said today, they're like, yeah, but 1.5 billion to Elon, that's not even that much money, and to Tesla, it's not that much money. And yeah, all that might be true, but also what is true is that this shows that they're going to keep buying Bitcoin. They're going to keep getting more Bitcoin, and more companies are going to start adding Bitcoin to
Let
simply.
me let me try to sum it up there because you went over your 5 minutes. I'm just
Uh,
gonna say, but let me try to summate this for you. Elon Musk is the single most wealthy person on the planet. The company that made him the single most wealthy person on the planet is Tesla. Tesla just bought, if I remember correctly, it was 7 to 10%. They just invested 7 to 10% of their entire wealth into Bitcoin. Meaning, if Bitcoin went to zero tomorrow, Tesla could conceivably have a very, very bad day tomorrow. Okay. They didn't just buy $100,000, which, yeah, that's literally like blowing your nose in that kind of money for those types of folk. Okay, $1.5 billion is larger than some small countries' total economies. They invested that heavily, okay, after one meeting with this Michael Sayer, okay, that should tell you a couple of things. Number one, if the people that are generating billions of dollars of wealth are investing in this, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a new electric toothbrush. If they're investing that much, you should probably pay attention. Number two, I forgot my second point. Damn it. It was so good. It was
it's
such a
probably
good second point.
Well, Bitcoin always goes up. Is that what the
Oh,
point
yeah,
was?
yeah, yeah. Basically, what they just did. to the entire Bitcoin community is they just stuck their flag in the ground and said Bitcoin is here to stay, because now one of the largest corporations in the world has a vested interest to make sure Bitcoin is going to be profitable, or at least be a store of wealth. They can't afford to have it go to zero, which means if you get in, you already now have a hedge against losing it. Right?
Mhm.
It'll go down a little bit, maybe it'll go up a little bit, but it isn't going to go to zero at this point.
It's
You
never,
know,
yeah, it's never going to zero.
so so, so um, it's just a very, very good sign that Bitcoin is very healthy, and it's just going to get healthier,
I
in
th-
my opinion.
So yeah, and just to say that point one more time, basically, if you were thinking Bitcoin is dumb and for idiots, well then you're calling Elon Musk a dumb idiot, which is fine if you think that, but you're wrong because he's very, very smart. And
He's
also
got
the
big
people,
smart.
but the people on his financial staff are also very smart. Like these people
Oh,
are
and we
putting
didn't
the
even
thought
actually
in.
we didn't even cover the fact that Tesla is going to be taking Bitcoin for
Yeah,
their vehicles.
I've
Like,
been tweeting at him about that for a while because I'm buying
yeah,
one.
but we didn't. I mean, we didn't cover it here, and that's another big deal. Like, if they're willing to literally take Bitcoin for their cars and their trucks, that's a whole. I mean,
It
oh,
just it just
it's just
proves
good. It's just
Bitcoin to
yeah,
be the
it's just
money.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just more
I don't,
valuable.
yeah, I don't remember hearing them say how much Ethereum you can use to buy a car or a truck, but I'm sure that's coming soon, right?
Mm. Your sarcasm has been noted, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, I appreciate it. That's all I wanted.
Ethereum will be a thing. It's not going anywhere. It has value. It will retain value. And okay, I'm just gonna. It's
That's
okay.
fine. Yeah, Ethereum
Hmm.
has feelings, and the people that hold it have feelings.
Uh-huh. And
That's fine.
Bitcoiners have no feelings of, you know
No,
what?
I don't have any
You
feelings.
you are an Ecoinist. That's what you are.
Um,
You are racist against other coins,
oh
and
yeah, big time.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's wrap this up here for this week, guys. Thank you very much for unless you want to say something else, Mike. You good?
Well,
Wrap up?
I just want to say that Bitcoin, it always goes up.
Okay. It always goes up.
Guys,
Okay.
thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate you, each and every one of you, for listening. We're trying to get better every show, and hopefully we continue
Just
to do
leave a
so.
comment. Just one thing you'd like to see next week. Maybe Jeff doesn't talk about Bitcoin for one whole episode. Maybe that'd be
We didn't.
hilarious.
We barely talked about Bitcoin.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Anyways, just whatever you're thinking about. You know, just tell us how your day went or something. Just leave a comment in the comment section there, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
See you guys next week. Bye bye.